Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to the Order Stardom Show. I'm RJ Starks. It feels good to be back home here in Tampa, Florida. Last week, filmed from Pennsylvania in the middle of nowhere, Latrobe, PA. I was on vacation visiting a friend. It's not the greatest vacation spot. It's not Disney, and it's not Los Angeles. But back here in Tampa, Florida, excited for tonight's episode. We're going to be joined by our great friends over there at ATYL Media. I will first bring in here Stephen Malazzi, who's not in the shot. But we will also be joined later by Mason Maggio, who said he'll be fashionably late as well. So, Stephen, you got me? All right.
Yeah, I do, buddy. What's up, man?
All right. There he is. Okay.
I'm back after a week off. Firm event. Good old Phillies game. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
You went to a Phillies game today?
No, last week. I went to a Baltimore Orioles game today for work, which is kind of crazy. So I've been in Baltimore. Had to beat the clock to get back. I'm a little sunburned. It was 92. Front row seats, kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my hair's a little wet because I just showered. Because I was
I respect that. I went to a Pirates game last week. It's great. Beautiful ballpark.
Beautiful ball. PNC Park is one of the best parks. Camden Yards is up there. Camden Yards is really cool.
The team stinks, though. They lost really badly. So it was not a great result. But Mason Maggio is going to be fashionably late. I think he's doing it on purpose, so he kind of brings his aura in here last because I'm about to flood the room here in just a second. Are you ready?
Flood it. Flood it right now.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we're joined by the people, of course. Taylor Kitchen, head of ATYL Media. Oh, this guy. Oh,
this guy.
Forever.
Wow.
Brandon's here. And Dom Joseph is joining
Wow. What a throwback.
Welcome in, everybody. Steven, I believe you've been on their programming before, correct?
Yes, I have. And honestly, I feel like I'm back on their programming because they just have so much aura. They're smoking us out here.
They're out ratioing us right now. Hold on, I got it. All right.
Wow, we got Mason Maggio too.
Mason
Oh my
Maggio.
God. It was next. You're bringing in LeBron. Jesus, my God.
Wouldn't be surprised at this point. We're just aura farming at this point.
I don't know. How are we going to do a 6-way podcast here? This is going to go a little hectic.
Let's ask Taylor because she does the round tables with more people than this. So, what's you got some pointers here for us?
Delegate, let the chaos roll, and we will go off the rails, and that's expected, and that's okay. That's the only pieces of advice I can give.
That's how good shows are done. You know, you got to go off the rails. So, I thank you for that piece of advice there. And let's talk to Ben down here in the left corner. How you doing, Ben? I heard you haven't seen the people in a minute.
Yeah, it has been a busy year. Yeah, very busy summer, busy year. But I'm doing all right, man. How are you?
I'm doing good, and it is fantastic to see you, and it's fantastic to see Mr. Dom Joseph as well. So you're an Ohio guy. I'm gathering here.
Yeah, I like to make it well known right off the bat if you didn't notice. But
fuck you, buddy. I'm a Penn State guy. Nick 'em. But I will say I do appreciate this. I know that number 22. Is for me, not for Joey Logano, like the massive flag you have hanging in the background. So I do definitely appreciate that at least.
Yes. Hey, 22. That's a perfect number. So I can at least respect you on that. But if it makes you feel better, last time Penn State beat Ohio State, it was on my birthday. So I'm sure that makes you feel a lot better.
That truly does not make me feel any better. That actually makes me feel really bad for you. So I'm sorry that happened.
And now to the bottom right corner, Mason Maggio. Welcome in, and how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Obviously, we had a very interesting weekend at Indianapolis. A lot to unpack, a lot of cool stories to unpack as well. So I'm excited to get into that, and obviously some drama today. Obviously, with some big news in the Xfinity Garage area in particular. So excited to dive in as we got a really cool episode, really cool group of people here to talk about it.
Attempted murder. Haven't seen that one in NASCAR in a while.
Long story short, yes.
Yeah, I mean, people on Twitter seem to think I was saying, I tweeted about it. They seem to think I was saying that Eric Almirola deserved to be killed. Not at all what I was saying. I was saying that Eric Almirola has been driving aggressively. Let's just jump into it. This is where we're going. Eric Almirola has been driving aggressively all year, right? In a series where he is not a regular against a bunch of regulars. One of the regulars was going to pay him back. Now, in my definition, payback is like, yeah, sure, maybe you knock someone out of a race. You know, you put them into a wall at Martinsville. You give them a little bump and run on the last lap. You do a couple of different things, right, to get payback. That's literally attempted murder. That is like so unbelievably dangerous. And then I will give you credit, right? The wherewithal to immediately get on the radio and say, I didn't mean to do that. I was losing control. Really smart, because you learn that, right? If you're going to do something stupid, don't admit it. But, I mean, those hands speak for themselves. He had that bad boy straightened out. And it ruined what was honestly a highlight reel, career highlight reel level save for this guy. Because, I mean, that is a phenomenal save. Not many people could save that race car. Austin Hill did, and he made sure he took that opportunity to let Eric Almirola know. to let Eric know that he was not happy with that move.
Yeah,
this is the goofiest fire suit in NASCAR, like hands down.
It really is.
So goofy.
That and then the Chili's Ride the Dente suit.
Oh,
iconic though.
Top two cringiest suits for sure. I can't lie.
Yeah, this is certainly one of the quotes of all time, and you know, there's sometimes where I'm glad NASCAR quotes now can be included in the, you know, where you're scrolling through Twitter and you see in the comments the meme quotes. I don't know exactly how to describe them, but that people use over and over and over again. So I feel like the Austin Hill quote is going to be something that people come back to. But as we're talking about it, obviously the news is that he's been suspended for the Iowa race. We can go around the round table here. And are there any objections to this suspension here? I'll start with down there at the bottom, Mr. Dom.
No. I mean, Steven put it bluntly. Yeah, I mean, you had the greatest save of the season and then turned your car into a weapon. I mean, you can't do it. I listened to what Denny Hamlin had to say, and you also kind of have to feel for RC, because like, okay, well then why wasn't Cindric suspended? He right-reared Ty Dillon, but also look at the circumstances of that, where Almirola's hit was at a way, way, way higher rate of speed and junked his race car. It's warranted, and I think that the fact, too, that he loses all his playoff points is just another good thing about this, where it's a lesson is going to have to be learned here. So I'm for the suspension.
How about you, Ben?
Just reiterate what Dom said. Because I made the point in a group chat on Saturday. I was like, Richard's got a point. Like, they didn't do anything to Austin Cindric. So like, this feels a little. If they're gonna call this, they need to call it strike and ball if they can. But I do agree that he very much used his car as a weapon, and that is truly, even if they didn't get him for reckless driving, like, that is actions detrimental to a T in some ways. Like, you've taken what our sport's built upon and using it in a very, very damaging and dangerous way. So I get it at the end of the day. I'll be interested to see how he responds from this moving forward, because I feel like he's kind of had a hot streak in some ways in the Xfinity series and kind of gotten away with a lot. And now it's like, now you can't do much, man. You're on a leash now. So
yeah. How about you, Taylor?
I mean, RSAR isn't appealing. We know that Austin Dillon's going to be in the 21 this coming weekend. I hope Austin Hill moves forward with this. Maybe Lawrence Fred. But I honestly, like, I have a question for Steven Mason, you too. Like, when you're in your car during a race and you get super pissed off with a driver and you're like, you know, you can't like retaliate against somebody because you face suspension, fine. Like, how do you deal with it? Because I have really bad road rage, and like, knowing like maybe what the situation Austin Hill was in, the mindset he's in, like I get so pissed off. Now I want to commit murder like he tried to, but like I would be so pissed off. How do you guys deal with those emotions in the car? Because I could never.
Magic.
Yeah, all right. I was going to say it's probably for the best that I have it more tamed, and then Steven can go off later. But no, I mean, there's different ways of doing it, right? Obviously, the way Austin Hill did it was far out of context, right? Or I guess, so to speak. But you know, for me, I learned a lesson pretty early on that, hey, these guys work their tails off. The sponsors are putting in a lot of money into these cars, these teams. You can't go out and tear each other's stuff up, whether you're a small team or a big team. The way that I personally want to try to handle it is talk to them outside of the car, right? Because I feel like that's the way to do it. That's the appropriate manner to do it. Do we have boys have at it? I don't know. I guess that's for fate to decide, right? But for me, I've never been one to go and intentionally wreck a guy or basically just see red inside the car. Not to that extent, for sure. There's little ways that you can, tick guys off, right? Maybe rub them a little bit, or as a lot of guys have done, at least from my experience. Steven, you can say your piece, but I've gotten a bird out the window every once in a while. I've really done that, but it's one way to express your frustration without absolutely just trying to commit murder, right? So for me, I handle it in a much different way than a lot of other drivers. But Steven, I'll let you take the floor on that one. I've kind of said my piece in a sense.
So the answer to the question is simple, which is why don't you wreck the person who cuts you off on the freeway, right? Consequence. And for me personally on the racetrack, right, the consequence is I pay for it. I wreck it, I fix it. And it's not worth, when you have the option to get payback, is it worth $10,000 if I front clip it and kill a radiator and blow a motor? No, it's not to me. I had a little incident with Timmy Hill at Bristol a few years ago where, Bristol, one of those racetracks, right? Ring around the rosy. It's constant. It's fleeting. It's on the bottom. You're stuck there. And I'm just a moving chicane essentially. And Timmy gets stuck behind me and somebody behind him punts Timmy into me. And I almost wrecked Nick Sanchez, who was in the playoffs. And I was fuming because I didn't know it was anybody behind Timmy. I thought Timmy just punted me. And in my head, I'm thinking, man, this is a guy who has driven a lot of really bad shit in his career. Out of all the people who should understand what I'm doing right now, this guy is the one who should know. So I stormed into his hauler after the race, and he was like super apologetic. But I lost it on the radio. Like I was really, really pissed because, we were at that point in the night where it's just like, we're having a miserable day. Nothing's going to get better. It is just ride it out. And it almost got way worse when I really would have shaken up the NASCAR playoffs if I had taken out Nick Sanchez. There are certain drivers, and to Maggio's point a little bit about the teams and the sponsors. There are certain teams and sponsors I don't feel for. I don't care if I wreck your shit. There is a few guys in particular in my head right now who I will avoid naming for RJ's sake. Who hey, if they ever did something to me on the racetrack, I would no hesitation retaliate. And at that point, NASCAR can find me. NASCAR can do whatever they want to do. But if I junk a race car like that bad enough to the point where I'm willing to retaliate, then my career is probably over anyway because I have to spend so much money to fix it. And I'm going to make sure I go out making sure that guy knows that I'm paying him back. At the end of the day, though, like you said, it's pretty much financial constraints. If those went out the window, I don't think I'd hesitate to give a little bit of payback. So one day, Taylor, we will find out the answer to that question. I promise you. Somebody will wreck me at some point, and the five of you are going to sit back and remember what I said on this podcast, and you're going to think really hard about who wrecked me. Mm-hmm. You're going to be like, is this a guy Stephen Malazzi would want to wreck? And if the answer is yes, expect to see a cut shot to a wrecked race car of whoever wrecked me in about 15 seconds.
Taking notes.
You started your career beefing with, I guess, an organization, I should say, or
not only an organ. No, actually, I had a little beef with Carson Hocevar too at first. So it was actually an organization and Hocevar, but Hocevar's beef went away really quickly, and then Glory to God Racing also went away really quickly. So there wasn't much beef for me to have after that was over, but. Yeah.
That's fair. But yeah, I really do appreciate that perspective, from you guys as the drivers racing for smaller funded teams, because you guys aren't going to do what Austin Hill did in his situation. But obviously from what you guys are saying here, just to follow up real quick before we move on to the next tidbitty thing, that's kind of what influences that is people that have more budget, more money, bigger teams there, and probably aren't fixing their stuff every day are going to be more willing to just either take somebody else out and, hey, if I go with them, because that's what happened in that wreck. Austin Hill, he didn't just hit him and move on. He kind of took himself with him. Like, he's just all the way to the left. So I imagine that's part of it because they have the bigger budget. So they're just going to be like, screw it. I'm going to take myself on.
Well, let me add two more things before we move on. One, shit. So two, what Austin Dillon as the substitute driver, travesty. I mean, what a waste of an opportunity to put somebody in a really, really good Xfinity ride, right? I mean, you got so many options of guys like who deserve real opportunities and good equipment all throughout the truck and Xfinity series, and you put in Captain Silverspoon, and that's like, man, I get why RC did it. I totally understand it, 1,000% get it, but man, that is a frustrating one to see because that ride could have been somebody's career catapult, right, to the top if they go in that 21 car and impress at Iowa. Back to number one, we all talked a little bit. I think it was Ben and Dom specifically talked about Cindric versus Ball Strike, Cindric, and versus what happened last week, right? To me, if we're calling balls and strikes, I actually think NASCAR got it right. I actually think that Cindric's is just outside the zone, right? And that's an okay. To be honest with you, the point is that car wasn't totaled. Okay, it kept going, and nobody was hurt, and it's at a slow part of the racetrack. If he had wrecked him another 1,000 yards down the front straightaway at 160, it's a different story. They were probably only going 100 miles an hour, and like, is that any worse than wrecking somebody in Martinsville? No, and I don't really care if we suspend people for wrecking each other in Martinsville, right? I care about the things that are truly, truly dangerous, and like Indianapolis, Daytona, Atlanta, anything that's a mile and a half and up. I mean, you're looking at dangerous if you're retaliating at 180 miles an hour, right? So that's sort of the ball strike call to me. Like, there's no doubt that was a straight down the middle fastball. He should get suspended.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I use that metaphor because baseball, but not like all baseball fields are the same. Not all racetracks are the same. Like you said, wrecking someone in Martinsville is way different than wrecking someone at Indianapolis versus wrecking someone at Coda. Like, there is no one set rule for that probably at the end of the day, but it's a case by case basis. And what he did was truly the most extreme he could have done it in, basically. So,
I'm trying to think of a place where it would be potentially more extreme to do it than Indianapolis. I mean, maybe if you got a perfect right rear at Daytona, that could be bad because of all the cars that would hit you afterward. But in terms of impact, I'm not sure you could really get a harder impact than that.
Yeah, that was a wicked crash, and I do want to appreciate like the booth that we had on Saturday. I made a tweet about it, about how I was glad that Adam, more specifically Jamie and Parker, were back together. I know CW did the whole thing with the drivers getting in the booth, and it seemed like Parker and Jamie were shuffling back out, but like, those two are so fun together, like in the booth. Like, I don't know if you guys share that same sentiment as me, but even just a clip like that of the crash and their reaction, but just the race in general. I mean, those restarts like were absolute, like it was so much elevated because they're all in there just screaming, yelling, commentating, adding excitement to it. I know, Taylor, you probably shared the same sentiment as well of those two being together and kind of the dynamic they had. And they've kind of been like the duo all year. They've been on like 3 different networks already now together, which is really cool to see. But I mean, how did you guys enjoy the presentation of that Saturday race and that duo being back together? Since Larson decided, screw it, I'm just going to race and not commentate.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was so good. And I will say, and I've been very talkative about this all season long, where it's like the talent that you have in the booth, the talent that you have in the pre-race and post-race shows, like, it matters. There are certain people that are great individually, but they do not work well together. For me, TNT is kind of that vibe for the pre and post-race show. That's just my opinion, though. But for the CW, at least, they do such an incredible job. Adam Alexander, Jamie, and Parker, like, they're so good together. And especially Parker, like, the energy that he brings to any broadcast that he's in is incredible. He can do it all. He can pit report, he can do pre-race, post-race, he can be in the booth doing play-by-play. He's so good at it all, and it brings such a good energy. Like, I don't get how he does it. He's good at everything. I don't get it, but it's awesome.
I guess he can drive too, like Steven said. He's a pretty decent driver. Not only in stock cars too, sports cars, everything. He's probably done things that we probably haven't even thought of before. I know we were talking about what were we talking about last week? Ken Murphy. Oh, shift carts. What do you call them, Steven?
Shifter carts.
Shifter carts. Yeah. That's what we were talking about.
Gotta get you
You're a big shifter cart guy, aren't you?
Me? I'm a Listen, buddy. You're talking to 2017 national champ Stephen Malazzi. Okay?
Oh.
I don't want to hear it. I don't. All I'm saying is, look. Anyone in the NASCAR garage, except for Connor Zillich, I want no part of that kid in the go-kart. I spent years commentating him and watching him dominate every freaking go-kart race. Anybody else besides that guy in the garage who wants a go-kart race, I'm on, and I'm going to smoke your ass. I've already taken Maggio to church, spanked him from behind at a go-kart track a couple times.
Oh. You took Maggio to the diecast shop, too.
Maggio took me to the diecast shop. Don't get it backwards. Get that one right.
I got to show ATYL. Oh, yeah, that's true. He took you there. I'm trying to make sure we fit in all of our usual pictures that we throw in here, dude, to every stream. To the ATYL people. We have this one here of people say that Steven
Incredible. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. Steven's comparison. Another Steven picture right there. Law school grad.
RJ's definitely got a man crush on Steven. I'm convinced at this point.
I know. Why don't we get
into
it?
Incredible.
I just wish that Steven
you shouldn't have spoke on Twitter. Pal.
I thought this was going to our group chat, so I'm like, let me look like purposely uncomfortable. And then he puts it on Twitter, and it blows up. That's the worst part, is it blows up.
Mistake number one, never put anything in the group chat that you know has the potential to make a good meme. Never do it.
Such a banger.
I wish I was taught that early on.
Oh, God. So glad I got that.
That absolutely made waves. But, yes, that was great. Yeah, never put something – never be afraid of the fact that will probably end up on Twitter at some point. So, switching gears, but we're going to – what's up?
Are we going to Bubba Wallace and Sunday now, or what? Did I read your mind?
Dude, you read my mind.
So wait. I got opinions, okay? And I gotta spit them out first. I can't lose them. I'm all jumbled.
Here we go.
Awesome. Great race by Bubba Wallace. So glad that he got to silence all those haters. Honestly, nothing frustrates me more than watching a driver get unwarranted hate. And there are not many drivers who are less controversial than Wallace. In terms of their on-track action, in terms of their off-track action, not many, except for the one time he right-reared Larson at Vegas. We can all talk about that. But otherwise, a pretty straight arrow, and gets such unwarranted hate, and to finally shut up the haters. 100-race winless streak broken. So happy to see it. The next-gen car still fucking sucks. I'm over it. I am so done with it. It is freaking crazy. What did we watch? What was that? I am so bamboozled every time I watch this car because I expect it to be different. You know what they say insanity is the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. What the hell are we doing? Why are we doing the same thing and expecting a different result every time? I can't do it anymore. It drives me crazy. I sit down on Sunday, and by the start of stage 2, I'm ass up asleep because I don't want to watch that anymore. Meanwhile, in Xfinity, I'm at the edge of my seat freaking swinging around because I'm so pumped up to watch the exquisite racing I'm getting with great coverage, great drivers, great retaliation. And what do I get in Cup? I get to watch some fuel mileage conversation by Steve Letarte for 51 minutes because that's all we're freaking talking about. Not a single pass is going on because you know why? You can't pass. You can pass this ass. You can pass this car along to the next guy. I could be in a next-gen car, and I'm pretty convinced some of the field would not be able to pass me if you put me in 15th. And by the way, I'm super ass. I think I'd be terrible at it. But I'm convinced that that's how hard it is to pass with this car. It had me so impassionately fired up on Sunday. Now, to counter this, I'd love to hear what Ben has to say because I feel like we're gonna get some level-headedness here.
I'm honestly kind of in your boat, though, is the thing at the end of the day. So not talking about Indianapolis, but if we go back to Dover and that last restart where Hamlin just basically air blocked, I'm sitting there and I'm talking to my sister because she's my roommate, and she's sitting on the couch and I have the race on, it's ending, and I just go, this piece of shit. And she's like, are you not happy that Hamlin won? I was like, I'm fine with Hamlin winning. I just hate this car because all it is air blocking now. You just air block and you're done. You don't have to do anything. Even fresh tires don't matter hardly half the time at these tracks anymore. So I had a bad taste in my mouth about this car already. In general, even before Dover. Dover really pushed me to a point where I was like, man, I'm really not feeling this anymore. And then Indy, and I went to Indy last year, and it was very much the similar style racing of once you're out front, you're basically done. You can't really pass hardly at all. And so with this, I was just like, yeah, here we are again, back to just air blocking, and nothing really happens. So I'm with you, honestly.
I mean,
oh, sorry. Do go,
well,
Taylor.
I was just going to say, Ben, kind of brings up a point here. We're also we're in the middle of the season. There's middle of the season fatigue from everybody involved. I think we're on a stretch of races where everything just kind of feels the same. The Gen 7 car is producing the same type of action every single week. It's predictable. The technology in the race car with the mirror in the car that Kyle Busch even spoke to is making it easier to air block. Air blocking is nothing new. We know this, but with the technology, it makes it easier to see the guy behind you a little bit. Kyle Busch is like, do we remove that? Do we not? I don't know. So I agree too. I'm kind of fatigued on what we've seen, but then Malazi said, we're looking at Xfinity, and I'm like, oh my God, this is the best shit ever. I want to watch this every single day of the week.
Yeah. That's exactly where I'm at.
Yeah.
That's exactly where I'm at is I have such bad fatigue from Cup and the Truck Series because I think, no offense to anyone who loves Truck Series, I think that is probably some of the worst product I've seen in a long time. It so disinterests me, and Xfinity is just God tier. I love the Xfinity Series every week in, week out. Yeah. And it's just I'm like, oh, Saturday's here, I get to watch it. And then the other 2 days, I'm like, we'll throw it on and see what happens. So,
yeah. I'll be honest with you.
It's just the greatest thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
So the two things that I will add to one, you're looking at I agree. I agree with Mitchie Bags, and that lovely picture of Kevin James. So you look at the stands, right? And everybody says, "Oh, NASCAR's fine. Oh, this isn't 90s NASCAR." But we once were able to pack IMS. We did it. We literally did it in some of our lifetimes. We were able to back Indianapolis. And looking at the stands on Sunday was pathetic. Yeah. It was, and everybody's like, oh, yeah, but it wasn't really that bad. No, it looked that bad. It really was probably that bad.
Was devastating.
We've seen those pictures. 2, do you want to know how bad it is for me, Ben? I'm glad you brought up Dover because I didn't talk about this. I had a professor from law school bring his family to Dover, so I got them garage passes for the Cup race. And I went and I showed them the ropes. Do you know what I did when I was done and they got to their seats?
Went home?
I went home. I didn't watch the race. Do you know why? Because why would I want to sit in Dover, Delaware in 90-degree weather to watch whatever car gets out front on the final restart win no matter what happens?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, look, there was a little bit of action there at the end, right? But at the end of the day, the majority of the race was people holding their position, and that was it. And it was a track position war through and through. Dom, I'm going to throw it to you. What do you got?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about the cars to be able to complain about the cars is the way I'm going to put it.
Okay.
But no, I agree, because it was a lot of that race of just sitting there no one's going to pass him unless he runs out of fuel.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I was telling myself before the caution came out with Kyle Larson. Yeah, he was running him down quick, but all of that's out the window once you're within a second.
Right.
Yeah.
And last I checked, the Cup cars don't have DRS. So it's just...
Don't give them ideas.
At this point...
Don't. If you mention that enough, NASCAR will just do it.
Yeah.
Oh, I just...
I guess the good thing would be is that F1's getting rid of DRS in a sense. So maybe that'll help. But
it shows that sanctioning bodies can listen to the fans.
Yes, true. Yeah. I think my one complaint would be the stages, because now that just allows you to turn every stage into fuel mileage saving. You're not even trying. And then you get to stage 3, and then you fuel save until you get to go to the distance. And then we actually get a race for 40, maybe 30 laps. Because I know the Daytona 500 was like that, where they were just riding around because they knew they had to get to the end of the stage.
It's awful this year.
So we're not racing. We're just surviving until the actual show starts.
That's a phenomenal point. And we didn't really, correct me if I'm wrong, because there's 5 avid NASCAR fans in here with me. We did not have this problem, though, with stage racing until the next-gen car, for the greater most part, right? This is like a new next-gen problem, correct?
It's heightened with the Gen 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that. It
at least heightened to the point where I didn't notice it before.
It got put in the spotlight with the next-gen car.
Yeah, I think it's been something that's elevated with the next gen car. Yeah, it also I've always hated the sound of the next gen car. It's ugly, especially being at the racetrack compared to our old cars. Yes, very loud as well. But I was thinking of this analogy, and I'm gonna try to explain it in the best way that can kind of make sense, because I've certainly done my part in shitting on the next gen car on this show. But I feel like in today's time, I feel like a lot of people have transitioned to being more of a fan of entertainment type sports, such as wrestling, WWE, even NASCAR as well. Celebrities getting more into these sports. They drifted away from, they're getting pissed off at NBAs and NFLs, MLBs, whatever. I've just seen that trend, being somebody that's watched, NASCAR obviously very intently, and also WWE fan on the side as well. For when WWE has hit their peak, they didn't change anything with their core. They still do what they do. What they did was enhance it. They took what they had and they enhanced it. They presented it better. The broadcasts are a million times better. Their marketing was a lot better. So now there's a bunch of celebrity interest. I think NASCAR had that same thing at the same time. Their marketing got a little bit better. Our broadcast partners got a little bit better. Maybe not in the first 15, 20 races of the season, but hey, after that, it's a great time. Prime doing really well. Also, we got celebrities involved in the sport, new team owners, all this stuff going on, and we got a car that sucks. And to me, we took away from what was our core. You can talk about what we did with the playoff stages. I think that's a different conversation. I think the sport, I guess what I'm getting at is the point where people would say, like, oh, the next gen car saved the sport. Like, the next gen car is what brought in all this interest and revenue and celebrities and this, that, and blah, blah, blah. I don't think so, because honestly, I think at the end of the day, that's what's going to drive them away. That's what's going to drive these drivers away, because the drivers hate driving it, the fans hate watching it, and I think the team owners don't like it either, for every aspect. So, if we had the car that we had maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago now, I think we would still be at the same place, if not elevated, because people would appreciate the racing. More people would want to go to the racetrack and hear those race cars from 20 years ago. I feel like they just sounded so much cooler. Those old school race cars. I always remember Ben as being a guy into those old school classic race cars. And I'm sure you can kind of translate that to the old NASCARs as well. They sounded so much better. There's nothing like hearing that damn 28 car in Xfinity Series qualifying rip by Bring them all back for every race car.
That and Will Kemmel's ARCA car when he runs that.
Yes.
Oh, God, it's so mean.
Will Kemmel's ARCA car. But people, we're trying to drag new fans to the racetrack, and these new fans aren't buying their ticket to go to the racetrack because of the next gen car or because of a playoff format or stages. They want to go. The people that are going for the first time just want to experience it, and that's what I tell all my friends and family. Like, I want to get you there to experience it. I'm not telling you, hey, you got to buy this ticket to the racetrack because, boy, we just came up with this new playoff format and it's sick, and I want you to see it in person. you actually don't understand anything really when you're sitting in the stands too much. You can kind of hear the radio, but really only at Daytona, because you can hear the PA system when they kind of finish going around you. But yeah, it's just, we need to move on from this car. Long story short, I think everybody in here agrees. The drivers agree. They only want to say too much because they probably know in their conversations with the sanctioning body, it only gets them so far when they talk about it. But it's holding us back. The racing's terrible. The air blocking is terrible. There's always going to be aero. We've already been over this, but it's awful in the next gen car, to where it's like you're watching a race, especially when they show it from the blimp cam up from above, and you see somebody just try to get to the inside or ride behind somebody, and they just like die. Like it's just over. But in the Xfinity series, boy, you can certainly make that pass. And most cars on planet Earth in racing, stock car racing, can make that pass. But yeah, next gen car infuriates me, makes me very angry, because Indianapolis should work. It shouldn't be that bad on the oval. It's not going to be the greatest race we've ever seen. It's there for sentimental value. It's why F1 hasn't gotten rid of Monaco. Like, we need to go to the Brickyard, but the racing shouldn't be that awful. Like, it was bad.
Yeah.
The other thing I gotta agree with you there, RJ. I mean, that's the biggest thing that we've got with this next gen car is just aero blocking is so tough. Like, compared to the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series, I mean, aero blocking is like just a huge barricade between, the car behind, another car trying to make a pass. There's no ways to maneuver. From my experience, granted, I've never driven a Cup car, but from what I've heard from guys that have driven the Cup car, is it's like you can't do the maneuvers that you've done with the Truck Series or the Xfinity Series with, moving around with that air in order to, put together a good pass, right? You just can't do that with this car. You get within proximity and you either build stupid tight or you're about to wreck because the back end of the car is just about to loop around. And, we can't have that. We got to have it to where the drivers can show what they've worked their entire careers of doing. And that's going out there and racing and utilizing their craft and their resources that they've learned from those lower series to where they're at now. Because if not, we're just going to be in the same loophole of mile and a half and, some mile and a halves, and then the short track package is just going to suck too. Because that's another thing is we're losing the short tracks as well. They used to be so sought out for with, in years past with Martinsville, Bristol, and several other tracks that we've had on
Richmond used
schedule.
to be a cutoff race, man.
Yeah, I mean, Richmond was great because, I mean, it was about tire conservation, and whoever saved their tires the best was going to usually have the advantage on the long runs. But now we can't do anything anymore, right? It's a game of track position. If you don't have track position, congratulations. Either you got to hope the guy in front of you messes up, or you're just going to have to ride and hope for the best to make up ground. And the other thing is too that we don't take into account is when the next gen car was introduced, NASCAR said, "Hey, we've got a way to help save teams money. If anything, it's more expensive to go next gen race to run the next gen car than it was the Gen 6 car." So that's another thing that we completely have stripped away from. And I think that's also one of the reasons why we don't see very many new team owners come into that. Because if anything, we've seen teams that gave it a shot in 2022 and even 2023, and they're gone because they just couldn't meet the demand of what it took to go be competitive in the Cup Series. And I'm not saying these small teams are going to be up front and winning, but they can't even stay within range. Like, if you don't have an alliance with the big team in the Cup Series, congratulations, you're going to go run 35th, 36th all day long and just hope for the best. So that's another thing. I mean, we've completely stripped away from it, and I think that's why you're seeing, the Xfinity Series, the Truck Series have so many more newer teams and newer avenues because it's more affordable than going Cup racing. And it's a shame because we used to see, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, several cars that were just fighting to get into the show to go run a Cup race. And now we don't have that at all. I mean, the last opportunity we had with that outside of the 500 was Chicago. I've never been more excited to watch Cup qualifying in my life up until that point. So there's a lot behind the scenes between the car, the racecraft, and budget-wise that NASCAR has got to change in order to, make the Cup Series essentially healthy again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, RJ, man, I just, if I were sitting next to you, I'd give you a big old kiss. I mean, that was just beautiful. Everything you just said is just running through my mind. It was just gorgeous. He nailed it. And like the fact of the matter is, we've lost fans, and those fans probably don't come back. To make new fans or hypothetically bring the old ones back, you should not be saying, look at this playoff format. Diffusers. Yes. Independent rear suspension. Like none of that's like, oh my God, I want to come watch NASCAR. Like to me, what would make me go to a NASCAR race if I didn't love racing, right? Imagine you take me to Daytona. I go to Daytona. I see awesome crashes. I see a side-by-side finish at the line. I, as a man, am just like, wow, that was fantastic. Even if I didn't love racing, I think I would be like, let me watch NASCAR next week. And then maybe there's some great racing, some great passes, a great finish. Anything that can build on that momentum. If I had to go to Daytona and watch fuel saving for 2.5 hours until I finally got a little bit of action going, it wouldn't intrigue me at all. So anything to add on the horribleness of the next gen car before we close the book and move on to RJ's next chapter?
I did want to bring up, because Mason brought up a really good point about like the teams and the budget that has costed. I got a chance to tour Haas Factory team and then Joe Gibbs Racing like within like a week and a half of each other. And seeing how much empty space is in these shops now, how many people they had to let go to is insane. And a lot of times when you talk about the money that it's costing them to run this Gen 7 car, it's extra resources that they have to put into trying to figure out how to be competitive without the practice, without the testing time and stuff like that. So there's that aspect of things. But it was so interesting to see just all the empty rooms at Haas Factory, and like what used to be, especially with their, Xfinity Series program, was in a whole separate type of section of the team. Now it's all kind of formed into one big room. It's all basically storage. With Joe Gibbs Racing, what they've done to, I think, kind of offset things on the business side is they've added, I guess, more businesses under their umbrella where they're like working with certain like, I don't know, like space programs or something like that. But they're like having the machines that they used to use like for the cars work towards those certain things. So these teams are having to find different ways on the business side to like kind of make amends with what they're losing because of the change with the Gen 7. So just something to add there that I thought was interesting too. These teams are still trying to figure out how to be lucrative in some way, but with a team like Haas Factory team versus Joe Gibbs, like it's a struggle, right? So
I think one thing that, and that's a really good point, Taylor, and to kind of piggyback off of that, one thing that NASCAR lost that I know it's been a negative in Formula One, because it's whoever's got the most money is going to be just incredibly better than everyone else. But in Formula One, those cars are drawn, designed, built, constructed, and brought to the track from their own factories. And the next gen car is all single sourced. It's all coming from the same place. And you're not seeing a Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet on the grid. Yeah. It's a NASCAR that has Hendrick stickers on it. I think that's one thing that a lot of the core fans really miss about it. And it's that you can't go into the race shop and see the step-by-step process of a race car being built. Like, are there even fab shops in the race shops anymore? It's unfortunate.
We have one at RBR, but like the next gen car teams don't really have that.
They're all gone, or they're used for something else now.
Exactly. There's no point. There's no point.
Yeah, that's really awesome perspective, obviously, from Taylor, getting to see and I've been living vicariously through that with you getting to tour the shops and everything like that. That's an awesome time, and seeing the behind the scenes of like what they do. And even when like people are able to go on their tours, like when I visited Charlotte last year and got to, tour as many shops as I could in that 2-week span that I was there, time of my life, awesome time, because you really get to see the ins and outs of what they're doing. But to your guys' point, obviously there's been a lot of stuff that has had to been cut back. And you're talking about and to Dom's point, being NASCARs just with the team stickers on it, right? If I'm a driver, I'm hearing that, okay, we're all running this equal equipment, whatever. It's been built by NASCAR. Okay, so it's really going to be in my hands, right? And then they go to try and pass somebody, and it doesn't really work out. So I know that's why, when we say the drivers are frustrated, these people are frustrated, the owners are frustrated, because they're like, okay, we can only do so much with our car. And now our drivers get out there and it's like either qualify good, like either qualify super good, or we're got to do some wonky stuff with the stages here, hope a random caution falls our way, aero block our way to a victory, and here we go. So it's odd. It stinks, the situation that we're in, multiple different aspects. If our schedule just consisted of Daytona to Kansas to Atlanta to Vegas, maybe to Homestead, and then hey, back around, Chicago street course in there, then we'd be having a good time. But unfortunately, there's so many places that we have to be fixed, and it's not the racetrack, it's the car. Because I've always said this. Me and Tommy Joe would say this on our show 4 or 5 years ago. You could put the Xfinity Series in a Walmart, Sam's Club parking lot, and we would see a show. Because that's just how good their cars are. And like, we kind of talked about before, it's presentation, broadcast presentation, bringing light to the sport, marketing. Some of the best racing that happened this last weekend might have happened in some random track in Arkansas that was broadcasted on some random YouTube stream, but it's all about the presentation, right? This is the sport that is presented at the highest level. It's got the best drivers, we like to say, the best teams, the most money. Let's give our fans the best product. So now anything else on that, everybody?
No. On that note, how do we feel? I just sent RJ some tweets if he wants to queue them up. NASCAR 25. We got a release date. We got an ARCA driver list, which
we still haven't talked about Bubba Wallace winning Indy. Also, I want to know.
Oh, I said a brief little spiel about it, but the race was just so bad. We'll go back to it if we want.
I just wanted that to be known. That
I give a
Bubba Wallace, great job. This car sucks.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great spiel. What do you want me to say about it? Like,
it's a good spiel.
Look. At the end of the day, it's hard for me to celebrate any Cup Series accomplishments, whether that be a championship, a Daytona 500 win, a 5-win season. I just don't. I don't care. Like it's so hard for me to care these days about what happens in Cup. I am so much more invested in Xfinity. I really truly am. And like, I don't know. I feel ridiculous even talking about SVG in the playoffs. Like I don't know. Like there's just a bunch of ridiculous stuff in Cup right now. By the way, and I said this many times in the show, SVG will at some point be a championship contender. He will figure out ovals. But the fact that right now we're talking about potentially losing Chris Buescher, who is a top 10 car in the playoffs,
travesty,
in order to get SVG in there is something else. And like I said, SVG I think he's tied for the most wins in Cup this year. Phenomenal driver. But it doesn't – there's so much ridiculousness going on. It's hard for me to celebrate the accomplishment because at the end of the day, well-deserved win by that 23 team, but it's like so much. And I also think this is true conversely for Bubba. I think part of the reason Bubba hasn't won in 100 races is because of the next-gen car, right? Because so much of it is a roulette wheel of just when you call the right strategy and how it works out for you. And the biggest reason why Bubba Wallace probably hasn't won a Cup race is because his pit crew has not been good until this year, right? That is a huge thing because you look at how many times have we looked at a Hendrick pit crew who gets their guy out first, moves up 2 or 3 spots in the final restart, and they aero block their way to a win, or Gibbs pit crew doing that. So, yeah, I don't want to take anything away from Bubba Wallace. Great drive. So happy to see his burnout over the bricks was awesome. But I don't know what else to say about it. Like that's
fair.
Without talking about how crappy the next gen car was. That to me was the tangent conversation to talking about that great victory. So unless you guys got something else to say, now you know what? You want to flip it on me, Ben? How about what do you have to say about it? Come on, spew. Let's chat.
Okay. I thought it was cool. I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat as you, kind of the next gen stuff, but I do like getting to see him win a race. I think is just really cool. I feel like, and it was such just a different face to finally have be up there throughout the day. I feel like he's been close, but never really in the spotlight, even in the lead at a lot of these races, so to speak. Or if he has, it's been very short lived. The fact that he had a couple stints where he was like, oh, he's like really into this and really going to be a face throughout the day was really cool. So That was about it for me. I also thought it was really cool, like just seeing the fan respect that he got at the track, because sounds like there were people that stuck around and were there to celebrate that, and that was like the first. I don't know if this is correct because I've seen different things. That's the first time in at least 70 years that a black man has won at Indianapolis or something like that, wasn't it?
I thought I saw on Twitter today it was the first time ever.
I wasn't sure because I wasn't sure IndyCar stuff.
I thought I saw something recently where they said that Lewis Hamilton was the last one when they still had the Grand Prix at Indianapolis. But
yes.
Yeah, but
I've only seen oval stats, so
yeah, I got you. But I guess kind of to contribute to that as well, obviously very, very popular win. It was something that needed to happen, right? Obviously, Bubba's one of the biggest names in our sports right now, right? So, being able to have him go to victory lane, and the way that he did it too, kind of proved not only to the sport, but to the world of, hey, like, this guy's a superstar for a reason, right? So I thought it was cool. It also hit home, just kind of the post-race interviews talking about, seeing that emotion out of him, that raw emotion. And that's something that we miss out of some of our biggest names in the sport, right? Is the emotion and saying, hey, it's tough to be here. So when we have these moments, they should mean something, right? And we shouldn't be afraid to show that. So I was really glad to see that. It really hit home for me personally. And then, I thought the race at the end was phenomenal. Bubba did a great job. And then somebody else that flew under the radar that I feel like we need to give a shout out, Catherine Legg in the 78 car.
Yes.
A great performance by her. She did a fantastic job. Heard a lot of great things. Funny enough, from RJ's main man, Tommy Joe, who was spotting for her that weekend. So felt like she did a great job. She's really kind of, meshed into her own on the stock car side of things. It's super tough, right, to be a rookie in today's day and age of NASCAR with very, very limited practice, very limited seat time. And she absolutely knocked it out of the park in the Live Fast Motorsports equipment. So a couple of cool highlights, I feel like, from the weekend, even though we can go on and on about it, about how the next gen racing product did not hold up, but we do have a few highlights to look back at and say, hey, here's some positives to take away from the weekend. So two outstanding performances by two great drivers.
Yeah, a rookie with an open team too, and in the second least funded car in the field. So that's a great story for sure. And it was especially great to see after what was a very rough start to her stock car career, showing obviously why she's won championships in Europe, right? I mean, that's all there is to it. 17th place, that's a great run. Also, shout out Tommy Joe Martins. Who the hell knows what that guy doesn't do, right? Is there?
He's just on side quests nowadays.
Is there any also, did we talk about how his hauler went to go get the 74 car this weekend? Huh?
Yeah, it was his duel.
I heard about that.
So Tommy Joe's helping Xfinity teams. Tommy Joe's running 3 Xfinity teams. Tommy Joe's spotting a top 20 cup rookie. I mean, Tommy Joe Martin, shout out. Catherine Legg, shout out. Bubba Wallace, shout out. Mason Maggio, shout out. And shout out Densey Energy. Densey, greatest energy pouches in the business. Get them today. None better. If you need your caffeine fill, Densey Energy, code Maggio15 now on Amazon.com. So
that was great. Great job, Steven.
Yeah, great sponsor plug, Steven. I'm proud of you.
Into it. I'm really proud of you there. That was awesome.
now can we talk about the game? Can you?
Yes. One second. I will say one more thing on Catherine Legg, because it was a great accomplishment. I was playing baseball this weekend, and one of the guys that was playing baseball with me this week was asking me about NASCAR. He's been getting into it recently, and then he was like, "Who's that girl, Catherine? She just started driving." And he wanted me to kind of explain what her story was, and I told her all the accolades that she has gotten. And also the team that she's driving, to explain to her the situation. Like, this is a learning team, and this is a learning, driver in the sport. And somebody that came out and said, hey, I don't want to just come out and do these big races, right? I want to learn, from the ground up, learn all these different tracks and racetracks and things like that. So now that Steven really, really wants to talk about the video game here.
I was just going to gauge the hype levels. I know that there are probably some excited people in this room to talk about. It's big news. It's coming out in 75 days here. So
crazy.
And it. Well, I was just saying the reason why it came to my mind, RJ, is because we were talking about getting new fans in the door, right? And how to fix what's going on. One of the biggest reasons, and I think stopgaps as to why we've had such a disconnect with some younger fans, is they have no way to interact with NASCAR at a personal level, right? Like you want to go throw a football, you walk outside and throw a football. There's no going outside and driving a race car at 10 years old. But there is playing the NASCAR game, and we haven't had one in a while. So I think that's definitely contributed, and we haven't had a good one in a while. So I sent RJ some tweets of the RFK screenshots. We're getting some screenshots now.
Ooh.
We're getting some driver lists going on.
Look at it. Let me pull Steven's stuff up here.
You don't have to pull up the second one. The second one I just thought was funny. But
we lost our
not the There we go. We'll pull up the actual screenshot here.
Yeah, there's two. That's one of them, right? Like that's I don't know about you. To me, that's a good looking game. I saw some people complaining about the graphics, but that is a photo of a photo.
People just
want
to complain.
Game. Like that is going to look good on your TV right in front of your face. I'm pretty confident of that. I think the dashboard's pretty simple. I think I care about how it races. And so far, the effort they've put in with the driver count, that ARCA list is ridiculous.
57.
That is ridiculous. And I know for a fact there's probably 40-plus Truck Series drivers as well.
Yeah. I will say the ARCA list does, like, they are adding in East and West people as well. They just only run East and West races, which is really cool. But that also adds to a little bit of an inflated number. So
yeah.
And what a huge opportunity for them too, like to put their name out there to fans that are going to be going into NASCAR because maybe NASCAR 25 or are going to be getting more invested into NASCAR because of NASCAR 25 and be like, oh, I wonder who that driver is. And you're like, oh, they run in ARCA West, ARCA East, whatever. Cool. Like it's a big opportunity for them. And it's a big opportunity for those drivers to go to their partners and say, by the way, in this really cool NASCAR game, here's the numbers that I did. These people are seeing me value. Like that's huge for them. From that
Brad Smith, ARCA championship incoming.
Yeah. We're going for it. Not if I take Wayne Peterson there first.
You wait until I do the impossible ladder, okay? Give me Brad Smith ARCA championship, Stephen Malazzi Truck Series championship. Give me Chris Wright Xfinity Series championship. I'll do it by wrecking the field. And then give me Josh Bilicki. You're too good, Mason Manager. You're overqualified for this. And give me Josh Bilicki 66 Garage 66 Cup Championship. I'm gonna do the impossible foursome there and pull it off eventually. Awesome list. I can't wait for the other list to come out. I think it's gonna be a really good game. Some disappointing things. No split screen. I feel like that's a big swing and a miss. Needs to be talked about. Right? Like, how do you have a NASCAR game without split screen on it? Also, a little disappointed. I don't know. Are we allowed to talk about that, Mason?
What is it?
The question is Mason? I think it's our Mason and Malazzi in Xfinity and Truck rosters, respectively.
Time will tell.
Time will tell.
So they signed an NDA.
I don't know, but I don't know who's driving the number 23 Ram Brothers Racing truck in this video game. Has that ever existed? I don't know. Does it exist now? Maybe. We'll find out.
In another life.
Apparently, we're multi-dimensional in NASCAR 25. With
Josh trucks.
That's how far we've gone. But yeah, no, I'm excited. I do wish the other thing that I heard that was not super prominent was like there's no AI silly season. So like people don't move around teams as much in championship mode. I heard that was very limited. And those are two, pretty big things. So I haven't heard anything about track lists. Have any of you guys in your reporting?
I have not. I would be shocked if they did like Flat Rock, but like I would say probably most of the national schedule, because this is iRacing too, so I would say most of the national schedule. Maybe Kern, because I know Kern's already in iRacing. Cool. Kevin Harvick's Kern County, whatever.
You got there.
Palooza, Electric Boogaloo Part 2.
I feel like if they're going to have ARCA in it, they'll probably. I mean, I'd be shocked that they didn't have Toledo.
I got to be honest. I think
it's iRacing.
I find it tough to think that they wouldn't include a lot of the ARCA tracks. Just because, how can you have an ARCA schedule if you're going to do like a championship?
I just don't know. Because they don't have scans of them. That was the thing.
That's also true.
Mm-hmm.
That's also true.
I don't know. As long as we get a few, I feel like we'll get a few unique racetracks in there. I wonder if they're going to put iRacing Super Speedway in there. I just thought of that for some reason.
Oh, that'd be sick.
Oh,
That would be cool.
I think some of the EA Sports tracks should make a surprise appearance, like old Dodge Raceway, Dodge Stadium.
I think they could put Dodge in the game. They probably don't even have licensing rights to say Dodge.
That's also true.
Old Spice Speedway, man.
Old Spice Speedway. That was the best one.
Old Spice would be fun, and I do want to. What's your hat say again, Mason Maggio?
Density Energy.
Damn it, it's back.
We need Density Speedway. It was. Damn. We know it says Density Energy. We're gonna move to a quick little segment here where we allow the fans to send us in questions. Usually they're for the drivers, but sometimes we also do some subjects as well. So I put up a little something today. It was the topic of conversation, playoff format, and it just works out. We haven't really rambled about that yet. So I allowed some people to send in some playoff format suggestions. So we're just going to ramble down the list here. I can't even see them, but I'm going to put this one up here. Sawyer Price 24_2.0 says the playoff format is great and should stay, but a car in 34th in points shouldn't make it in. So basically what he's saying is the playoff format that we had before, but you have to be top 30, top.
I got an idea for this. Let's do thumbs up, thumbs down to start, and then we can talk about it. So on three, thumbs down if you don't like it, thumbs up if you do. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Ben?
Well, somebody had to come up with a controversial topic to.
Here's the thing. I don't think they're changing the playoff format. However, I do agree that a car in 34 should not be in the playoffs, probably.
Because, like, what are they going to do in the playoffs? Like, that's
they're going to get eliminated by the end.
Be on the hot lap, mate.
I would hate
always on the hot
Incredible.
lap.
Trust me.
Crazy, man.
Trust me. I hate this format. I do not like this format. But like, I don't think it's changing anytime soon. And I think this is like, I agree with that a car in 34 shouldn't be relevant.
I mean, especially if Danielle and Larry Mack were so visceral on Sirius XM, I guess they're not changing it. Like, my God.
Oh, no. You know what?
Oh, here it is. Here we go.
Hear that shit. That's ridiculous. They're paid bots at this point. And I loved Larry Mack for so long. And like some of the stuff that's been going on the past few months with Larry Mack on this Sirius XM bullshit, I'm over it. Just stop. Just okay. You know what? Just yeah. I don't know. Cody Ware, Daytona win playoff spot. I mean, this guy's been coming up with banger comments all night long. This is
Quapple Nation. Quapple Nation. This is a guy that loves the back markers in the field. I will say.
Yeah. So he's a Steven Malazzi fan.
I met this guy Xbox League Racing back like 8 years ago. So we're talking about video games. This guy knows everything you need to know about video games and back markers. So you best believe there's going to be nobody enjoying more bringing Mike Harmon an Xfinity Series title than Quapple Nation.
We joke about Cody Ware winning at Daytona, and we were like, oh, like, wouldn't that be so fun? And then it almost happened this year. We're like, oh my God, I hope. Like, no. Like, maybe not.
Out of turn 4, Cody Ware is going to win at Daytona. Except Rick Allen isn't commentating anymore, which is a travesty. But
it really is.
Yeah,
that's all I can do.
You got to give him credit, though. He's done a great job. He almost won a few of these races, so I wouldn't be surprised if at some point all of a sudden Cody Ware's in the picture at Daytona or Talladega before the year ends.
Hey, Cody Ware's a dog, and Arby's has the meats. Those are two things that are true. So let's move to the next one here. Final Four is by Caden Seth. Final Four gets a 3-race round, and whoever has the most points at the end wins the championship. So same format, winning in, playoffs, elimination. But then the Final Four gets a 3-race round, and whoever has the most points at the end wins. All right? So we're going to do thumbs up, thumbs down. We'll go 3, 2, 1.
It's better.
It's improvement.
Yeah,
I'm
very conflicted.
That's why I'm like this, because I don't like it, but it's better than what we have.
Yeah.
Because
it's interesting.
It is. And like, I think the biggest gripe that a lot of people have right now is like, if there's only one thing you could change, obviously I think for me personally, it would be like no win and you're in, but let's say that has to stay. I think having one race as the finale, the best of the 4 win it, like that's not compelling and it's dumb. So if we give the final 4 3 races and just have it be a points thing, then yeah, I think that's more legitimate, and it legitimizes this championship format. It gives us truly the best of the rest. It doesn't go down to just Penske dominating at Phoenix every single year. So
yeah,
I don't know. Nothing against Penske though. I love those guys. So, but just saying,
we do love Penske. It's an interesting concept, right? Because it's like the whole format that we have now is based by winning in, right? You win in the regular season, you advance to the playoffs, you win in said round, you advance. So, because I've had battles in my own head where I'm like, okay, I love for us to be a 10 race chase. That's my thing. I want the 10 race chase to come back. But realistically, are we going to get rid of the winning in? I don't think so. But can you have them both? Can you have winning in and then you go to the chase and you're like, okay, well, wins. Now it's points race to the end. Can you do them both?
Yeah.
I don't know. But I feel like if I had to pick a balance, I'm a 10 race chase guy. I like that chase to the end. That's what I grew up on personally. So seeing that battle and being able to have like a playoffs, but it's like a racing type of playoffs chase. You know, that's what sat right with me. But
and then it justifies the points.
Yes.
It gives you a reason to actually go points racing. And that literally every spot counts, not just winning. Obviously, winning the race is everything, but being a little bit more realistic of like, hey, let's fix this car because if we finish 37th and not 41st, that's a chunk of points that could help us at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. The fastest lap, baby. 1 point. where Steve Letarte had ultimate beef with at Mexico City that Kyle Larson came. I thought that was awesome. And then Steve Letarte was really angry. So I don't know.
I don't really know why was he angry?
Because he thinks they should have to be on the lead lap or something.
That's such a stupid rule.
It's a way to recover your day.
So yeah, in Formula One, you can only get the point for fastest lap if you're in the top 10.
Yeah. But I think that's dumb. I think that's
lame
of the whole purpose, I think.
Oh, well. Anyways, anything else on this, guys, before we move to the next one?
No, but RJ, I would just like to say I just sent in a comment to this question.
I know. I saw your text, and I'm going to let you say it at the end. I can't get the graphic because I'm not Elon Musk. So
I know. I thought you were Elon Musk. I thought you were better than that. But apparently you're
I'm not Jeff Bezos. I can't.
You're just a regular guy.
I'm just RJ Starcivic. I'm sorry. Owner of Motor Stardom. Anyways, it's the next one. I think this one was satire. This is from Aaron. As it is, I hope SVG wins the championship to show why this format is cheeks. Me too. I'm not gonna lie. Towards the end of last year, I was like, once we got into the middle of playoffs, I was like, I hope Joey Logano wins this.
Me too.
I hope Joey Logano wins this, and the uproar starts.
Yep.
Because
you know, another good example of that. I want to say it was the 2019 Truck Championship race when Matt Crafton won it.
Yeah, I was going to say Matt Crafton walked so SVG can run.
Exactly.
If I remember correctly, because I did a whole write-up on that when I was in college. I think Crafton led 44 laps that season.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Yeah, didn't win a single race. You wouldn't. Nobody would have guessed that throughout the whole playoff run, and then all of a sudden, there he is holding the championship trophy at the end of the night, and it's like,
better now. Basically, runs the same he did then. I mean, and he won a championship. It's ridiculous.
It's crazy to think. I'm not trying to put disrespect on Matt Crafton.
When was the last time Matt Crafton won a race?
2021
20
at Kansas, maybe.
2020.
It's been 5 years.
Michigan, maybe.
I remember him winning Michigan.
I don't remember winning at all because I was like,
I think it was Kansas.
I don't know.
I think Dom's right. I think it was 2020 Kansas.
I just know I was happy for
it. It was the COVID year.
Yeah, that's 5 years ago.
Matt Crafton has not won post-COVID, I don't think.
That's insane.
I'm still
I will say, as a as you can tell, a very passionate Joey Logano fan. I've got a lot of Logano stuff behind me, but last year and in 18, I wanted him to win to play the system, to just show what was wrong with the system.
Yeah.
Because realistically, in 18, I wanted Harvick or Kyle Busch to win that championship because they were the most dominant that year. And then last year, I was polling for Denny because we were finally getting some sort of a championship run out of him. And then as we got closer to the end, I could see that was kind of shifting, but I didn't want as a reporter, didn't want Joey to win the titles to try to justify the system. And both times he showed exactly what's wrong with it. Just have a good car for Phoenix and you're the champion.
It's crazy. You didn't even mention what was the worst one to me. To me, the one that did it for me was 2020. Like Harvick and Hamlin winning 19 races.
Yeah.
Kill me.
And Chase Elliott wins the championship? What are we doing? I mean, like,
that was my breaking point. Not gonna lie.
That was mine too. I was like, and look, actually, no, I have nothing to say about that. That's it. That's just insanity. It's insanity. Yes, Ben.
2020 Kansas was Matt Crafton's last win.
Wow.
Good job, Dom.
On the board.
The encyclopedia returns.
Oh, yeah. So you're telling me that I have the same amount of wins as Matt Crafton in the last 5 years?
Hell yeah, brother.
I mean, just write you in for the Hall of Fame now.
I'm going, baby. 13 starts, 31 average finish, best of 22nd, Hall of Fame career.
Hey, Mason Maggio's truck average finish might be right around his. Matt Crafton's average finish in the trucks this year, too. With that big old Daytona effort from Magoo.
Well, RJ, there's another guest we can't have on this year. Thanks a lot.
That ain't no. He'll come on here if he so wants to. Probably not. But anyways, next one and the fourth one that I have on here is Gustavo Lopez 34 says top 16 in the regular standings in the current playoff form.
I'm not even waiting.
Basically, what he's saying here is regular season standings, but then here come the playoffs, and we're gonna eliminate.
No.
I don't know if we're eliminating based on points or like winning you're in, but yeah.
No.
It's gonna be
that ain't it, Chief. That ain't it.
That would just 5 big dooms on the doom meter.
I appreciate Gustavo trying here, but
A for effort, but you need to leave.
No.
Yeah.
On the boomer,
and there's Maggio knocking out one of our viewers. Nice. All right,
thank you for tuning in, Gustavo.
That was it. Well, now Steven, you can say yours.
Just go back to the chase. Just do it. I'm fine. I am fine.
Yeah.
I am fine with the top 10 in points. And if you want to give me the next two best winners in wild card, that is fine with me too. Right? Then at worst, you're getting like 13th and 17th place. I'm okay with that. That is what it is. It was beautiful. It was perfect in every way. We had 10 races. It was the reset of the season, playoff-esque, that we all needed to give. We had moments. Do you remember how bad Tony Stewart was in 14? Awful. He was terrible. And then here he is, comes into the chase, squeaks in, and then rips off a stretch like nobody's ever seen to end up winning the whole thing.
He said at the opening media, "We don't belong here."
Yes, yes. And you know what? He showed exactly what NASCAR wants. And nobody looks at that championship and says, man, Smoke didn't deserve it, right? I've never heard anyone say that about that championship. Everybody says he turned it on when it mattered the most, which is a very different sentiment than, yeah, he won Phoenix. What I hope happens this year is at Phoenix, lap 7, 4-car pileup. It's the 4 championship contenders. And the entire broadcast we spend with a camera in the garage and freaking Alan Cavanagh standing around 4 wrecked race cars, trying his best to figure out which one's going to get back on the racetrack first to win the championship.
That would actually be awesome.
Race long.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious. That'd be like
the definition of hell in a cell.
Yeah, really.
It would be like comically epic. Like
they would definitely NBC would send Marty Snyder on that side quest.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys, we got he's cinching his way out of the garage area. Stall here, guys.
Just for that, RJ, they're bringing Rutledge Wood back for real.
Where's Rutt?
Yes.
Where's Rutt? Just for the one moment, Rutt's in
the 5-car pit stall here
with the 4 wrecked playoff contenders. Yeah.
Oh man, I miss.
And thank you for tuning into another episode of What Grinds Steven's Gears.
Yeah.
Everything.
I missed Where's Rutt, man. I will never forget watching the I don't know what year it was, but I was watching the Rolex 24. I was in Chicago, it was like 2 a.m. and I flipped it on. I'm like, let me watch the midnight shift here. And they had the NASCAR guys kind of doing it because that's what they did. They were like, all right, Rick Allen, you get the 2 a.m. shift, buddy. And they had Rut in the infield, and dude had to be drunk. He was in Victory Lane or something. He's like, all right, guys, how you doing? Like, we're out here in Daytona. I've been out here all day. Like, blah, blah, blah. Send it back to you, Rick. And yeah, I will never forget that. I miss
Poor
Rut.
guy.
I'm glad he's.
I do too. I got a picture of him at Homestead back in 2017. That was
Dude,
I haven't seen him since.
I
I
gotta
have to send it
selfie
to the
with
group
it.
chat afterwards. I was a tiny little thing at that time too. Holy crap!
I got a nice little picture with Rutledge Wood at Homestead. It was like 2019, I think, like that, something like that. But yeah, he said, I miss him. I miss him being around. I miss him being around in the television booth. He's got his own show right now, right? That's kind of what he's doing, like about cars.
Yeah, and there's like a
Yeah.
drift movie that's coming out too, as well, that he's working on.
Oh boy.
I ask myself, where's Rut every day?
I think the craziest stat. I'm sorry to break up the Rutledge Wood tributes here. The craziest stat about the chase that I saw this on Instagram. All 7 of Jimmy's titles, he was not the points leader going into the chase.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I did
You
not
had to
know
play the
that.
game.
And I was like, wow, all right.
10 races is long enough for everything to turn around.
Get
And like,
enough points to make the chase and then start
Yep.
trying
go
from
from
there.
there. Yep. Yep.
Well, before we end off here, I do want to send it to Taylor here real quick so you can kind of give the viewers and give us kind of a breakdown of kind of what you guys do, obviously, where ATYL Media came from, above the yellow line. Kind of tell us a little bit of your story and how this journey's been, at the beginning of this year, running this media company and obviously doing a fantastic job. So the floor is yours.
Well, thank you. Yeah, no, ATYL Media came from the podcast that I had since 2021 called Above the Yellow Line, talking about NASCAR. And I kind of saw a need in the space to bring content creators together to collaborate and work together to build something really cool. So last November, we launched ATYL Media, and this is our first full season of covering racing. And not just NASCAR, though, that's our bread and butter, but we cover the short track scene. Buddy Pooley does that. Sal Nicosia covers a lot more NASCAR, Xfinity Series focus. John DeRudris, Formula One with Track Limits. We brought on Andrea and MJ. You might know them from TikTok. They do our 4 laps IndyCar coverage. Big Duke does our NHRA coverage. So we cover a whole bunch of stuff. Content coming out daily, weekly. We also have interns with us right now, and that's been new for us, but they've been crushing it. I have to shout them out too. But it's been really fun. Of course, the OG ATYL media crew, we continue to do the live streams every single Wednesday. But it's a chaotic, fun kind of mess, but it's been cool to kind of see the opportunities that the team has gotten, the relationships we've built with like NHRA, for example, covering IndyCar with credentials. And it's just been really cool to see what started off as a podcast I did in my pantry at my college apartment grow into this, which is pretty cool. So journey's been cool. Being in North Carolina has been cool too. But everyone can find us at abovetheyellowline.com. We're revamping the website, so I'm very excited about that. And then, of course, ATYL Media on all social platforms is where you can find us too.
And it's a beautiful website, a beautiful brand. Buddy Pooley, absolute dog on the short track scene. See him everywhere. See him everywhere, capturing, when the next time Connor Jones is going to get hands thrown at him or throw hands himself. Buddy's right there. Buddy's right there on the action to see what's going on. But no, you guys do an awesome job. And obviously, me, Taylor, Ben, all work together under the umbrella of Toby Christie in the past. So, like Alan Bestwick said back in the day, saying lessons learned from his father. Oh, sorry, Stephen Malazzi was also there.
He was part of the fam too.
He was there too.
I did stories for Toby Christie. I did gambling analytics for Toby Christie. I did everything for Toby Christie. I got a call from NASCAR telling me to stop writing gambling on once. Okay.
Well, what's so funny too was like I still work with Toby for Racing America and like on the Racing America SI side. So it's the evolution of where we all kind of started and where everything is kind of fun to see. Toby's great.
We had Toby Christie.
Shout out Toby, man. Love that guy.
Shout out Toby.
Toby's
Racing America is absolutely killing it. Everything that they've been doing and everything that Toby's been doing for them as well. Mm-hmm. The whole space. I mean, the short track scene. I mean, you got to give a shout out to Race America, Flow Racing, to where you can watch it all. It's a new breath of fresh air kind of what you guys have been able to provide to the sport. Because you can click on your stuff and not only see the NASCAR world, but you can see, I'm just keep beating this one, but Buddy Poley at your local short track, seeing what's going down. So you guys do a great job. And how would you say this year's been fun?
Yeah, it's been
a lot
fun.
of work, I'm sure. You're a busy person. You guys all are, but
yeah, it's been busy, but it's been fun. Thankful for everything. Thankful for the team. I mean, I'm a little biased, but I think we have the coolest team out there. But everyone brings something different. Like, I mean, again, Buddy, he brings so much energy and it's so much fun, but everyone brings something different. We all learn from each other. We're all just love making content. I'm excited for the off season because we have a lot of fun ideas too, like brewing, like where we can really get creative. But it's been hectic fun personally with my work with Racing America as well. Like it's hectic, crazy, but it all kind of folds into this one chaotic, beautiful mess that we call ATYL Media. So appreciate everyone and their support.
That is a sentiment we can share because the Motor Stardom show is definitely a chaotic mess, but it is
I love it.
Awesome time. We love to provide content for people. Taylor, Ben, Dom have all been great friends in the racing industry for me for years, and I'm glad that we could do this show together because our brands kind of got formulated, ATYL Media, Motor Stardom kind of at the same time, and we're going to hope to be doing this for another 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years, guys, our brand forever. We want to be the new era of motorsports media here.
I got to add something too. One of the only interviews that exists of me after my debut race was in this gray t-shirt. I am wearing this.
Oh my God, I remember that.
Because I did not own fire. Nobody can ever tell NASCAR. Well, if they see this, that's on me. I did not own fire-resistant underwear in 2021. So I just raced in this gray t-shirt and a fire suit. And then like my actual underwear. That was it. That was all I had on. So I had the fire suit like down and wrapped around my shoulder, and Taylor Kitchen and Ben came up to me and interviewed me after my debut race at Mid-Ohio. So I will never forget that. It was a good time. So long connections across the board here. Dom, I've known you for like, I don't know how long, but a couple somethings. Like I think you've interviewed. I think we've done something together once.
The live stream, the live show.
Yeah. That's how I know you. I remember all the Logano shit, and I was like, damn.
It's hard to miss.
Right. So a lot of connections here. Mason Madju doesn't have any because he's a bozo. But obviously Taylor Kitchen, Ben, Dom, thank you guys so much for coming on. We appreciate the time.
Thanks for having us. We love being here.
Thank you. I love you, Mason.
Love you guys.
Love you guys.
All right, Steven. So let's go and show our friends here. Lead us out to your outro.
Hi. Wait, where's the music?
Hi.
NASCAR driver Steven Watt. Have you ever wanted a podcast full of fun, passion, and NASCAR? Well, then guess what? You've come to the right place. This is the Motor Stardom Show, starring RJ, myself, Mason, and whoever we have on as guests this week. Sometimes it's drivers, sometimes it's media members, sometimes it's no one at all. But who's on next week? We don't know. If you want to find out, we do this every Tuesday night, 7 p.m., live on YouTube. Check us out, the Motor Stardom Show. We'll see you next week. Shout out Amir Alexander.